Hello guys, what's up? Welcome to another video. It is me, Desiree, and today we're doing the birth story. I'm gonna put some makeup on as I tell you the story just so I can have something to do while I'm talking. I feel like the story is also gonna be kind of jumping in the timeline a little bit because I didn't write anything down. I'm just gonna kind of remember as things were happening and how they were going, and I just want to tell you. I want to talk about it. I want to document it because I don't want to forget that it happened. This is an experience that I never thought I would have in my entire life. I don't want to have it again, but I don't want to forget it either, so let's talk about it. So, where to begin? Let's begin at like week 36-ish. So I was 36 weeks pregnant at this point, and the midwife told me they're going to start talking to you about getting induced, because I guess at week 39 it's a common practice to get an induction or to start talking about it. There wasn't really any medical reason for me to be induced. The only reason they kept saying was because of my age. And I thought, okay, well, if everything else is okay, I don't get why you want to induce me just for that reason. And ultimately, everything is your decision. You don't have to say yes to anything. If they want to induce you, but you're perfectly fine, baby's fine, you can go till 40 weeks or however long you want. They did tell me all the risks and the benefits of waiting, and I ultimately decided to wait. So I didn't want to get induced because I wanted things to happen naturally and to like be spontaneous and kind of do everything as much as I could without medical intervention. And so they started talking to me about that. I was like, I don't really want to do that, you know. But then also my baby was turned the wrong way. The baby was breech, which means they're not in the optimal position to come out vaginally. There's a procedure that they try to do where they on the outside try to like move the baby, but there's a lot of risks to that. They also do that in the operating room because there are so many things that can go wrong, and I really did not want that to happen. So they started talking about a C-section at this point, and I was terrified to get a C-section, which is funny because when I first found out I was pregnant, my first thought was C-section, get the baby out. That's all I want to do. I don't want to go through labor. I don't want to feel contractions. I just want a C-section to get the baby out. But then, of course, as time went on and it was getting closer and closer, I was like, C-section's off the table. I don't want it unless it's an absolute emergency. But the baby would not flip the right way. She was breech for a long time, and then she flipped the right way. 1 week we went to an ultrasound, and oh my god, we were so happy she flipped the right way. And then she flipped back the other way the next week. So this was like week 38 at this point. She was flipped back to the breech position. But luckily at the next appointment, because they had me going every week at this point, she flipped back the right way, head down, optimal position for vaginal delivery. And I was so happy, but I was so worried. Every time I'd feel her squirming around too much, I would think, please don't be flipping around. Please do not be flipping around the other way again. Like, just stay this way. I was afraid of everything I did might make her flip over, but ultimately she stayed the right way, and I was able to deliver her the way that I had intended. So I did have to get induced because I went all the way to 40 weeks and nothing was happening. I wasn't feeling contractions. I wasn't feeling even Braxton Hicks contractions at all. I did feel some cramping when I was at work one day, like a week before, and everybody at work was worried for me because for the most part, all of the pains and aches and things I was feeling, I was able to just kind of work through them and no one knew I was hurting or anything. But this one, I guess you could see it all over my face. And one of my coworkers was like, "Are you okay?" And I was like, "Yeah, why?" And he's like, you don't seem like you're okay. And I was like, you know what, I'm honestly in a lot of pain. I'm cramping a lot. But then that was it. After the end of the day, never felt it again. Nothing happened. No bleeding, liquid, nothing. So I did end up getting induced. Like I said, I went all the way to the end with nothing happening. And I had an appointment on my 40-week due date to get induced, which I did not want to do. But the last doctor's appointment I had, they gave me a list of things to try that can cause you to like soften up your cervix and maybe get labor started. I tried all of the things. I was drinking the tea, I was eating the foods, I was eating the dates, I was walking, I was doing the exercises, I was doing everything that they gave me to do, and nothing was happening still. So at that point, they had gone over the benefits and the risks of going overdue. And I obviously wanted to do what was best interest for the baby. So I was like, let's get induced then. And I was going to get induced on my 40-week due date. They had set me up an appointment for 11 a.m. And I was like, perfect. I can do a get ready with me before I go give birth. And I was like so excited to do it because I didn't talk about the pregnancy at all on my videos, other than one time I made one comment one time. If you missed the comment, you didn't know what was happening. So I wanted to do that, and then they called and they changed the appointment to 1 p.m. because they said, we're really busy today, there's just babies everywhere, can you come at 1? And I said, yeah, sure, of course, perfect, we'll come at 1. And they said, if anything happens, you go into labor, come in anyway. Just if you come now, you're gonna sit in the waiting room until a room's available. I said, okay, fine, because I wasn't feeling anything at that point. And then they called back and said, I'm so sorry, can you come back at 10 p.m.? We are just really busy. And I said, oh, 10? Like, we were so excited to go and to have this baby already that having to postpone it by so many hours was like so disappointing. But what are you gonna do? We just hung out here, literally, like, what do? We were just kind of waiting. So I took a shower, put on my pajamas, and went over there at 10 p.m. And I love this Charlotte Tilbury foundation stick. It's the like glowy primer thing in a stick. I have loved it since I got it. Had to mention that anyway. So we get there, they're really busy. Like, we even had to wait for a few minutes for the nurse to come see us in their room. She put an IV in my arm. You can see the bruise still here. The bruise was crazy. Why I got such a crazy bruise, I have no idea. She said, we're gonna give you an IV. And I said, do I have to be hooked up to an IV? Because I don't want to be with this pole and the liquid, I don't want that. And she said, you're not gonna be hooked up to an IV. Well, we gotta put the port in at least in case there's a medical emergency, in case you need pain relief, in case you need any sort of medication, we can give it to you right away while you need it, instead of like having to put it in an emergency situation. I said, okay, that's fine. Gave me the IV, and then she asked me what my dominant hand was, and I said my right hand, and she goes, oh, let me take that one out. Gave me a new one. This one, no bruise. It had the tiniest little scab, that's it. But this one that she had in for 30 minutes gave me the craziest bruise. Anyway, they did ask me what my plan was, because I kept hearing online, you gotta write a birth plan, you have to write a birth plan. You don't have to write a birth plan, okay? You don't have to. Literally nobody asked me for it. Nobody. But all of the nurses were so good. They communicated super well. They over-explained things if I asked them to, like, what is that? Tell me exactly what that is. They were, like, really, really good. But the first one that came in and kind of, like, got me settled in the room and everything, she said, what's your plan for pain relief? And I said, in my wildest dreams, I want to go without pain relief. And she goes, okay, but do you want to sign the consent form for the epidural now, just in case you change your mind? And I thought, no, I don't want to do that because I'm not going to change my mind. Are you crazy? And then I thought, this nurse has seen probably hundreds of births and assisted hundreds of births. She knows people are going to change their mind. And if you don't sign the consent form and you're in the midst of all this pain and you're like, oh my God, get me the anesthesia, get me the epidural, I want the pain relief, you still have to sign this form as you're in so much pain. And she's like, it's going to be hard for you to sign it. You don't have to get it just because you're filling out this form. It's just a consent saying, yes, give me the pain relief and, you know, the risks with anesthesia and all that kind of stuff. So I signed the form. I'm very glad I signed the form, okay? So my dream was no pain relief, minimal medical intervention, but of course I was there for an induction, so I already had medical intervention, right? They do start with, at least here, they started me on misoprostol, which is a little pill. They gave me half of the pill, I put it in my cheek, and let it dissolve in there. It was kind of like a dry aspirin. And then I think it was, I don't remember if it was every 4 or 6 hours they gave me that. And then it was supposed to help soften your cervix so you could kind of dilate. I wasn't in a hospital gown yet. I was just kind of hanging out in bed. And they came and gave me that pill it was either 4 or 6 hours, I don't remember. The pill didn't do anything. It didn't work at all. They went all the way to the end of the doses they were able to give me, and then they said, okay, what do you want to try next? They said, it's up to you. These are all your decisions. It's your body. Here's a couple of other things you can try to help you start contracting or help you dilate or help your cervix soften up. But ultimately, it's your decision. If you don't want any of those and you just want to hang out in bed until stuff happens, that's fine too. But I was so antsy to get the baby out. And I was like, okay, what is something else you can do that's not a medication? And they told me about this balloon called a Foley balloon or Foley. Okay, I had never heard of this before, and I was like, explain it in great detail. What is this? And she said it's been around since like, oh, hi, my precious. How did you guys hear him meow? Hi, do you want to get out? Let me open the door for the cat. Hold on. Okay, I'm back. She explained the balloon. It's literally a balloon that they inflate inside of your body. So it's two balloons. One goes up by your cervix, the other stays by your vagina, and they inflate it, I think with saline, I don't remember, and it's supposed to like try to mechanically dilate you, and the balloons are in there, and then there's these tubes just hanging out of your body, and they tape them to the side of your leg. They explained it like it would feel like putting in a tampon, like you put in the tampon and you can't feel it anymore, or you shouldn't feel it. That's how they said this would feel, and the second they were done putting it in, which was a lot of pressure, okay? After I finished all the misoprostol thing, they checked me and I was only 1 centimeter dilated. And I also didn't get any cervical checks unless I absolutely had to, because I just read a lot online that they could introduce infection and stuff if you do them too many times. So they checked me after the misoprostol, 1 centimeter. They did the Foley balloon, and the cervical check was really so much pressure. It didn't hurt at all, but it was just like, it didn't feel right, you know? Anyway, so they put in the balloon, and the balloon is supposed to help you dilate and soften your cervix and stuff like that. And the nurse that did it said, I got this with my kids. It's no big deal. You know, they've been doing it since the 60s or something. And I said, okay. And she said, and if you did that cervical check the way that you did, you're not going to have any problem getting the Foley balloon in. So they put it in. It hurt, okay? It didn't hurt enough. On the pain scale, I'd say it was like a 3 maybe. Like it hurt, but it wasn't painful. It was just kind of like a, it just doesn't feel right type of thing. Like, ugh, it hurt. It was a lot of pressure. And they inflated the balloons, and the second they were done, I was like, this feels crazy. It does not feel like a tampon. It feels like there's 2 balloons inflated inside of my body. You can go to the bathroom just fine. You don't have to lay in bed or anything. And, you know, I didn't want the epidural because I did want to feel what was going on. And also, if you get the epidural, it's an anesthesia. It numbs you. Like, for me, it was like down from my waist to my feet. But it numbs you, so you can't get out of bed. You can't get out of bed. You can't do anything. And I didn't want to do that. I wanted to be able to do whatever. And which is fine. You could still eat like normal. I was still able to eat like I wanted and drink what I wanted. But once they did that balloon, it was really awkward, and like I feel like I didn't know what to do. So they kept the balloon in, and then every couple hours they would come and check it. And the way they check it is they just tug on it like a tampon. And you know when you try to take out a tampon that's not ready and it kind of like, it tugs and you're like, oh, that's uncomfortable, so you leave it? That's what they were doing. And they said once it finally comes out easy, you're 6 centimeters dilated. And I said, okay, cool. Sorry about this freaking hair, it's bugging me. So then I was like, okay, that's all right. So they, what did they do next? They came, they checked the balloon multiple times. I wasn't feeling cramps or anything at that point. I was just feeling like uncomfortable because this thing was in there. It wasn't painful, but it was like, it was weird. And then finally, after what seemed like forever, so I went in on Thursday at 10 p.m., okay? This is Friday, probably afternoon-ish, maybe early afternoon, that they came to check the balloon and they were able to pull it out. And she did not warn me that it was gonna hurt. She pulled it and then she goes, oh my God, it's ready. She went, pulled it, and then I felt these 2 huge marble things come out, and I went, ah, because it was unexpected. And she goes, do you wanna see it? And it was literally these 2 big balloon things, and I was like, that was in my body? And she goes, yeah. This means you're 6 centimeters dilated if it was able to come out like that. And I said, okay. So then, where's my highlighter I want to use? At that point, I started feeling a lot of pain. I started cramping a lot. I was feeling contractions, and they were okay. They weren't overly painful. They were kind of like, you just want to like curl up in the fetal position and moan and go, ah, oh my God, I'm dying. And then it would stop. And then once it would stop, there was no lingering pain. It's like it never happened. It was just like, oh, like, did that even happen? And then a couple minutes later, it would come back. It wasn't overly painful, but I still ended up getting pain relief for it. And they gave me the tiniest dose that they had of the pain relief because I was really afraid of it and I didn't want to be out of it when I was giving birth and stuff. And they were only able to give me, I think it was 3 doses of this one, but they broke them up into half doses because I was really afraid to take it and I didn't want to be like too out of it. But it was fine. The pain relief was totally fine. But that's the only option. They had this one and they had epidural. They were like, this is all we have available for pain relief. And if it gets too bad, let us know. We can come give you an epidural. But I was still adamant at that point, like, I can do this. If this is how the contractions feel, I can work through this. This is fine. And then, so I'm just laying in bed at this point. I finally put on the hospital gown. I'm laying in bed and I'm just like holding myself because I'm just like feeling the cramps really bad. And this is probably like Friday evening at this point. My water breaks. Okay, my water hadn't broken yet. They were talking about breaking my water for me, which I really didn't want them to do. I was hoping so bad that it would break on its own because, again, I wanted things to happen naturally and I wanted to experience it. So I was so happy that the water broke on its own. I was laying in bed and I had one of their long pads on at this point because the Foley balloon made me bleed a little bit. So I had that pad on, luckily, because my water broke and I was laying in bed and I got up and I went, oh my, like I thought I had used the bathroom. And I went, oh my God, I'm leaking everywhere. And I got up, I'm leaking all over. My socks are full of this liquid. And my boyfriend was like, what is happening? I said, I think my water broke. I go to the bathroom, it's everywhere. And I don't come out of the bathroom for like probably an hour, maybe a little longer, because after the water broke, the pain was so intense. The pain was on another level. It was where I thought, I can't do this. So every time a contraction would come, which felt like every 30 seconds, but I felt like I was going in and out of consciousness. I felt like I was blacking out and coming to really quickly because the pain, I'd never felt pain like that before. And I thought I had a good tolerance for pain, but what did I know? It was crazy back then. So I think I messed up this blush. I think I put on too much. Let's get the sponge. So I'm in the bathroom. I'm hugging the sink because I'm just like trying to find a position that felt comfortable. And oh, I forgot to mention, they had me on the misoprostol, but they also had me hooked up to the monitor around my belly to monitor the baby, because when you take this medication, they have to make sure that the baby is reacting appropriately to it and not like spiking or anything like that. So I forgot I had that. So they had me hooked up to that, then they would let me off of it for like an hour and a half, and then they come back and give me the dose again. So I forgot I was doing that. Anyway, so they did have me hooked up to that monitor, but it was just like 2 little monitors here. I wasn't hooked up to any sort of medical thing in my veins or anything. It was just a little like ultrasound machine or something. Anyway, so I'm in the bathroom. I'm trying to find a position, and after my the balloon came out and I started feeling like the really bad pain, they told me, you can do whatever you want to experience labor how you want. If you want to go take a shower, go take a hot shower. And I had envisioned taking hot showers because there's something about the sound of the water and the feeling of it on you. It distracts from pain. And I kept thinking, I'm going to go jump in the shower. But I could not bring myself to walk to the shower. The pain was so bad. They were like, we can bring you one of the bars if you want. You could take showers. We could give you the birthing ball, which I took my own yoga ball over there. And I sat on that a lot when I was there, and it was really helpful. But once the water broke, that was it. I was like, there's no, let me have my partner massage my lower back. There was none of that. I was like, I'm going to pass out. I literally felt like I was blacking out and coming to constantly. I was so nauseous. Every time a contraction would come, I could just feel like I was gonna throw up. So they gave me something for the nausea, and it worked so well. Again, that's why they have the port in, because they gave me that nausea medication and it worked so fast. I tried to snap, but I don't know how to snap. Anyway, it worked really quickly. And I'm in the bathroom at this point, just moaning and groaning. I'm sitting on the toilet. I'm hanging onto the sink. I kind of wanted to curl up on the floor in the fetal position because I felt like that would feel really good. I didn't end up doing that because I thought, oh my God, this gross hospital floor. The bathroom especially. So at this point, my boyfriend's knocking on the door and he's like, are you okay? And I said, yeah, I'm just in a lot of pain. Like, no big deal, I'm in a lot of pain. And then I couldn't take it anymore. I could not stand it anymore. I kept trying to walk out of the bathroom and I just couldn't do it. I was like, I can't move. Like, the pain is so bad. And I called for him. I said, hey, call them and tell them I need pain relief. And he called and I heard him say, she needs pain relief. And the nurses, I gotta give it to them, man. They treat you, at least where I went in my experience, they treat you like they're your own, like you are their only patient for the day. They respond to everything quickly. They were very attentive. They listened to me. They were, like I said, over-explained everything. They were so quick on what they were doing. I called for the pain relief, or I had someone call for pain relief. They came within a couple minutes. I got out of the bathroom and my boyfriend's trying to hold me up because I am just like, it's like a full body experience and it's hurting so bad. And he's telling me all these positive things like you know, like a positive partner should. And I am just dying. And it's funny, so during this whole experience right here where I came out of the bathroom, I had a quick thought of, I'm so glad I don't have any makeup on, because I wanted to wear a full face of makeup. And at that point, I actually had that thought because of how much I was like, just my face was so sweaty. I was so sweaty, so sweaty. They brought a fan and they told us we could take it home and I completely forgot. They brought a fan for me and it helped a lot. And at the beginning, when I signed the consent form for the anesthesia, for the epidural, I did ask, what is the point of no return? Like, when is it too late to get it? And they said, it's never too late to get it. As long as you can sit still, they can give it to you. She's like, we just gave it to someone who was 10 centimeters. So I didn't, like I said earlier, I didn't want to get it too soon if I did, because I didn't want to be stuck in bed. I did not want to be stuck in bed, just laying there. So this was at 12:50 a.m. Like, it's almost 1 o'clock in the morning. I can't take the pain anymore. I call, they come, the anesthesiologist comes, and I'm sitting at the edge of the bed, and you have to sit like in a certain position and you can't move. But the contractions hurt so much, and it's taking everything in me to hold my body still because I feel like my skeleton is going to jump out of my body. I'm holding myself as still as possible, but I'm like twitching a little bit, and she said, you have to stay still so I can do this. And I said, I'm really trying, I swear. And I'm just vocalizing because I'm in so much pain at this point, which I don't think I've ever done. But like with any other pain, but this pain, it's like no other pain you've ever felt. Anyway, she's like, okay, it's not instant. Give it a few minutes, but you will start feeling the pain go away. You'll feel it going away, and you are going to get very numb. She's like, you're not going to be able to move your legs. And they do give you a little button that gives more pain relief if you need it. Like, if you start feeling it wear off, you can push the button. It'll put a little more into your back, and you can get more pain relief. I never had to push the button because I don't know if I just didn't need it or what they gave me to begin with worked just fine. But I never had to use any more. Like, what they first put was fine. And then, so this was about 1 in the morning, and I passed out instantly. I was dead asleep. And while I was asleep, they did end up giving me Pitocin, which is what I did not want. Because Pitocin makes you contract, and it's very painful and it's very quick. And they, at least at the hospital I went to, it's their last resort medication. Because I asked about it at first, she's like, we never start with that because it's too intense too quickly, and it's not the best thing for anything to be going that fast. So they do it last resort at all. But the nurse also told me, if you decide to get the Pitocin, get the epidural, and if you want the epidural, get it before the Pitocin, because if you're in this much pain now, the Pitocin feels so much worse. You're going to want the pain relief. And I was like, okay. So they ended up giving me Pitocin while I was asleep, and I knew they were going to do it. It wasn't like they just came in and did it. She told me what they were going to do. They came and did it while I was asleep, which is totally fine. And they also came in and put the big peanut exercise ball between my legs, and I couldn't feel my legs. They were dead to the world. And it was 5 o'clock in the morning. They came and woke me up, and they said, we're going to check you. Let's see how far you're dilated. They did one. She didn't even go all the way in, and she was like, I could feel the head right there. We got it. It's go time. And I was like waking up going, what the heck's happening? I asked again. I said, okay, the button, if I feel anything, can I push it? And she said, can you feel what we're doing right now? And I said, no. She said, okay, you're not going to need it for how numb your legs are. You didn't even feel that we were checking you. You're not going to need it, but you can have it just in case. I didn't end up using it. It was about 5:45 or so when they had me start pushing. But when you have an epidural, okay, the anesthesia that it provides is so intense. I could not feel that I was pushing the baby out. And it was just all at once. And I was like, oh my God, it's time to have a baby. And so my boyfriend is holding one of my legs up. I'm holding the other one. I'm holding both of them like this behind my knees. The nurse is holding one, he's holding the other. And there's another nurse over here looking at everything come out. And she's like, okay, on the count of this, you're gonna push. And I pushed 3 times for 5 counts. 5 counts of 3 pushes each, and then the baby came out at like 6:22 in the morning. So I had, oh, I forgot I was gonna use this thing I bought at Marshall's, this Nude Sticks set. Anyway, so I'm pushing, and I was like, am I even doing anything? Because I couldn't feel anything. I'm tensing my whole body trying to push, but I can't feel that I'm pushing. And I was like, am I pushing anything? And she said, yes, you're doing really good. You're doing really good. But every time you push, the baby comes out a little bit, but when you stop, it goes back in a little bit. So you're slowly like pushing the baby out, like a slow progress like this. And she told me, don't take breaks in between the pushes, because I was taking like 10 seconds in between. She said, don't take a break, just go right back to push again. And when I did that, then the baby came out really quick. I only had to do 2 more sets of pushes. I didn't feel anything at all. The baby came out. I felt it felt like she pulled out that Foley balloon again, like 2 big blobs came out, and I knew in that moment, that's the head, those are the shoulders, the baby's out. And she pulled it out, and I went, no way. And then they put the baby on you, they cleaned the baby on you right away. Like, the baby never left our sight whatsoever this whole time. They do everything in the room with you. And the thing with the epidural, it makes you very shaky. It kind of feels like you have the flu. You know, when you're so sweaty, but you're also really cold and you have the shakes and the chills. That's kind of what it felt like. So I was trying to hold my body really tight, but I couldn't, like, I was shaking so bad. My teeth were chattering because I just felt like, you just feel crazy. So the baby came out. Everything looked good. They weighed the baby. Everything was fine. And once you give birth to a baby, you also have to push out the placenta, but I didn't feel any of that happen because I had this epidural, and I didn't even know that was happening. She said, okay, well, while you're taking care of your baby, like holding the baby, they're cleaning it, the nurse said, I'm gonna go ahead and take care of the placenta. I said, do I need to do anything? She said, no, you're good. Okay, this is a little out of order because this camera just like turned off for some reason, and it cut off a part of the video, and it's been driving me crazy because it's been doing that lately. It'll just turn off and then not save what I just filmed. So I think it stopped recording at the placenta part. So I'm gonna try not to repeat myself because I don't remember what I was talking about, but I know I was talking about the placenta. So they do ask if you want to keep it because I think people like eat it or take it in some way. I had no interest in that, but they did ask if I wanted to see it, and I was like, heck yeah, I want to see it. So I'm laying there holding the baby, and I look over and the nurse is holding up the placenta, and it's huge, and it's like this big bloody organ, and she's holding it and she's explaining what it is and where this piece was, and the umbilical cord was attached here and stuff. And I was like, oh my God. And then she turns it inside out. She has her hand in it and she's like feeling it around, and I was just like, that came out of my body, and I didn't even feel it come out. I've heard a lot of time people say you have to give birth to the placenta, but maybe you do. I don't know. I didn't feel a thing. I didn't even feel that she took it out. She just suddenly had it in this bin and she's showing it to me. It was crazy. It was a crazy experience. I was like, my body created this whole organ to hold the baby, which also I created in my body. It was just so weird. And then when it's done, it's like, all right, I don't need that anymore. Get it out of my body. And then they just do whatever they do with it. And then your uterus, which was all the way up here, is now trying to go back down to where it's supposed to be because all your stuff got moved around in there to make room for the baby. Your body is just a crazy thing in pregnancy and labor and birth. It's wild. Like I didn't think that giving birth was not a big deal, but I never obviously experienced it before, but it's a huge deal. Oh my gosh, it's crazy. So any of you out there who have given birth, you are amazing. Holy crap, you did it. I can't believe I did it either. So after all of that, they did, what else happened? So once everything's done, they start cleaning up. They start cleaning up the room. They're recounting all their tools. They're putting everything back. And I was like, oh my gosh, you guys are making it look like nothing ever happened in here. And she's like, I know. We just want to reset the room, clean it all up, and then they move on to the next birth that they have to do. Because they're doing this all the time. But even though this is a routine thing for them, they still treated me like I was their only priority right now. It was amazing. I was just so thrilled and so happy with all of their work and what they were doing and how they were talking to me, and they were so nice. And it was wonderful. It was a wonderful experience for me, although it was crazy and surreal. And every time I remember what I went through, I was like, I can't believe that just happened. It was crazy. And then it's over and you're like, now I have this baby. It was wild. But it was a good experience for me. It wasn't traumatic. It wasn't, it was painful, but it wasn't it wasn't a traumatic kind of pain for me, I guess is what I'm trying to say. I didn't feel a lot of pain afterwards. They did give me something to help me go to the bathroom because they really want you to make sure you're going to the bathroom right. They do monitor and everything. They'll ask you questions about it, have you gone to pee yet? You have to save it for them so they could see how much pee you peed out, because they want to make sure you're getting all the medication stuff out of your system and going back to the bathroom normal. And then they did give me Tylenol and ibuprofen because I guess when your uterus is moving back to where it's supposed to be, because it moved all the way up here, now it has to be back down here, it can cause a lot of cramping. I never felt any cramping at all. I don't know if the Tylenol and the ibuprofen were keeping that at bay, but I stopped taking it after a couple days because I was like, my pain is at a 0. The doctor also told me I would feel sore in muscles I didn't know I had just from all the pushing. I never felt any of that, which I was grateful for, but I feel like my postpartum experience has been really easy. I don't know. I haven't felt anything really other than the bleeding that continues on for a couple weeks or even a few weeks. Other than that, I wouldn't even know that I had given birth. I feel like I've had a great postpartum experience as well. They do really stress postpartum depression big time. Anything that changes, because your hormones go like this after the baby comes out, because they were going like that while the baby was in there. So when the baby's out, it's like they're out of whack. You have no control over how you're feeling and how you're thinking and stuff. So they stress it a lot. They even made us watch a video before we left on how to, any signs whatsoever, please talk to somebody, which absolutely, if you feel anything out of the ordinary, bring it up. Even if it's just a small little thought you had or way you were feeling, bring it up right away. So as far as pain and stuff goes, my postpartum experience has been pretty good. They did provide everything you needed postpartum at the hospital. I got the mesh underwear, which they're fine. The big old pads they give you, those are fine. They gave me a peri bottle, which is like a squirt, just a squirt bottle with water, because a lot of stuff was happening down there and your urine can really sting when you're going to the bathroom, so they have you use this water bottle to kind of dilute it, and so you don't burn as much. I used that for, I think, a week, and then I noticed the burning was gone, so I kind of just stopped using it. What else has happened postpartum-wise for me? They provided the Tux, witch hazel pads. I don't know what those are supposed to be for. I used them for the first couple days because I didn't really know. You just kind of lay them on the pad. I don't know what they were for. I didn't use the Dermaplast spray because I wasn't really in that much pain. So I didn't use that either, or I didn't feel like I needed it. What else? We did end up staying in the hospital longer than expected. So let me tell you what was in my hospital bag, okay? These hospital bag videos on YouTube are insane. But if you want to pack a giant suitcase like you're going on vacation, just do it. Whatever is gonna make your experience better or more comfortable or bring your comforts from home, just bring it. Who cares what anyone says? Pack as much stuff as you want. Bring whatever. If you want to play music, if you want some lights dim, if you want to light candles, do whatever you want to do to make your experience your experience. I didn't take anything. I wish I had taken at least 2 or 3 more pairs of clothes. I only took 1 change of clothes, and it was pajamas, because in my mind, I thought we're going to be out in 24 hours. Who was I thinking? We got there, we're there for 24 hours, nothing even happened. And so I was wearing the same pants, the same pajama shirt the whole time. And when I left, I changed out of my pajama pants into the pants I originally went in. The baby had spit up all over him one of the nights, and it was just, take extra clothes, comfy stuff that you're going to want to just like be lounging in, because you never know how long you're going to be there, what you're going to mess up, what you're going to get fluids all over. Take extra clothes, that's what I'm saying. But the things that I am super glad I took, which I got from YouTube videos, were an eye mask. Take an eye mask, because there's so many lights and stuff in the room and different things beeping and whatever. Like, any sleep you can get, it'll be better if you have complete darkness. So I used it, my boyfriend used it, it was really great. Didn't take enough clothes. We took a lot of clothes for the baby. We never put them on her at all. She went home in the shirt the hospital provided, because she used the bathroom so many times. We changed so many diapers, it wasn't even worth it to put a onesie on her or anything. What else did we take? We did take a book. I took a book. I took my Switch. We took like little things like that. We watched movies on the TV. I think the only thing I forgot to take was body wash, but then again, I only took 2 showers the whole time I was there, and it was kind of it. You know, take more snacks, take more food with you, because otherwise you're eating graham crackers and peanut butter, which is what I ate the whole time I was there. I ate, yeah, just kind of snacks, whatever they provided was there, but I would suggest eye mask, an extra pair of comfy clothes, because you never know how much longer you're going to be there. Food, take some snacks. Oh my god, it's raining like crazy outside. Yay. What else? I think that's all that was missing from the chunk of the video that I spliced out here. But I know I was talking about advocating for yourself. My boyfriend was looking up online, like, how can I be a good support partner? And he was like, I'm going to advocate for you really, really hard. Because a lot of the stuff we were seeing online was like the nurses would try to push stuff on you, or we're just going to go ahead and do this. But do not forget, you can say no. You can say no to anything. You don't want a cervical check? You don't have to do it. You don't want to get medical intervention? You could say no. You don't have to do things that they want you to do. Luckily, the nurses I had, they told me that, like, you don't have to do this. It's just options. These are the tools that we have that we're offering to you. You can use them or not. It's up to you what you want to do. And so I loved that they said that after every single thing, from medication to pain relief to whatever. They stressed big time, it's up to you. Okay, these are just the tools we have. What do you want to do? But I feel like that's not a lot of people's experience. I feel like a lot of people don't think they can say no. And honestly, I don't think I would have been able to say no if I hadn't done so much research online, because I assume the doctor tells me what I need to do and I just go along with it. But when they were offering different things, I was like, I'm gonna go ahead and say no. And they would just go, okay, no problem, like, it's your choice. They didn't get mad. I for some reason thought they'd get mad or be pushy about it. Like, even when the doctor offered me the induction appointment, I didn't want to do it. I was like, I really don't want to get induced. And the doctor said, I don't like doing inductions either. I would love if everything happened naturally. And he said, just make the appointment, and if you change your mind, you don't have to come to it. You don't have to show up to the induction. And I said, okay, fair enough. Like, let's just do it. Obviously, I ended up coming in, and things did happen, and I'm really glad that I was able to go kind of a little less medication-y, but the medication still didn't work that well, the first one. And they did that balloon, which is the mechanical kind of way, which that worked really well. And then my water broke on its own too, which was great. So advocate for yourself. Have your support partner advocate for you if you feel like the nurses are pushing you to do things that you don't want to do, or they don't tell you you have a choice. Ultimately, the baby's going to do whatever. The baby's going to come out. It might not go according to plan. You might have an emergency. It might be spontaneous. You never know. The baby's going to come out one way or another. It might not be according to plan. That's just how it is sometimes. Like, my baby was 2 days overdue by the time they came out, but that's what happens sometimes. So advocate for yourself. Know that you can say no. Make sure your support partner also knows what you want and don't want, and they advocate for you too, in case you're so out of it that you can't make a decision for yourself, you know. And when I signed the release for the epidural, they did have me put him on there, or just whoever was your support partner, to make decisions for you in case you can't, because they, you know, someone has to decide and make sure that you get what you want out of your birth experience. You know what I mean? But also be open-minded. It might not go according to plan, and that's fine. The baby's gonna come out somehow. I think that was everything that was missing now. Okay, I'm gonna cut back to whatever I was just saying. I think I'm talking about advocating for yourself again. But that's it. That's the birth story. That's everything that happened. If you have questions, let me know. I will answer them. Also, I had a girl. I forgot to say that in the beginning. I had a girl. She's perfect. And of course I'm biased, and she's the cutest baby that's ever existed. And no one else's baby has ever been so cute. Anyway, thank you so much for watching this video. If you want to share your birth story, I would love to hear it. If you have any questions, let me know. I will answer them. But that is it. Thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, give it a thumbs up, subscribe so you don't miss my next one, and I will see you later in another video. Goodbye.